thing I thought you were saw you were commenting on it was about a question that Matt from the UK's wants to ask. Hey Sam, love the YouTube channel and your little chats with the one and only Lee Priest. Can you ask Lee a question for YouTube, please? I'd love to know his views on the likes of Flex Lewis and David Henry moving up to the open class at the Olympia. If you could ask him this, I'd be truly grateful.
Well, Dave Henry's done the Open before. When I used to compete, Dave Henry used to do the Open and did okay. Flex Lewis, well, you know, sadly, because I got the 212 class now, you might be judged as a 212 person, meaning that if you go in the Open, they might not judge you fair, saying, listen, we've got a class for you, stay in that class. So when I was competing, we didn't have the 212, so I just went against the Open guys. So yes, I'm the real giant killer. Like I said before, you can't be a giant killer if you don't compete against the giants, you know. I slayed the giants like Jack. You just hang out and play with all the dwarfs. So you just play there with Snow White and all the dwarfs. But yeah, Flex Lewis, if he goes into the Open, you know, if he comes in, he'll have to come in a bit harder, I think, conditioning wise. He looks good, like he comes in cut and full, but he doesn't have that real granite hard look. So I think to go in the Open, he'd have to really come in super shredded. Like I said, like that William Bonac, is it? He got like 10th or so of the Open Olympia, and he won a show overseas. Now, he looks really good to me. I think he would beat Flex Lewis if put side by side. If he had done, I don't know if he could get down to 212, but if he was in the 212, I would have given him the nod over Flex Lewis. Like, Flex is a great guy, great personality, good for the sport, but yeah, it's hard to say how he's going to do in the Open because a lot of other guys like Imatashi and all those type of people have tried to do the Open after doing the 212 and didn't really do well, unless it was a smaller caliber pro show and some of the big names weren't in it. So it's hard to say really until it actually happens. But then again, maybe Flex just wants to be like they don't even call it the Mr. Olympia, 212, it's just like what, the Showdown still, or the 212. So the bikini girls and the fucking men in the board shorts and that get the Mr. Olympia title, Miss Olympia Bikini, Miss fucking Figure, Miss Board Short, Mr. Board Shorts, Olympia Physique, whatever the fuck, but yet the 212 still hasn't got the respect and they just call it the Showdown and shit. So maybe he just wants to be reigning champion that, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times winning that. So who knows? But to me, it's like winning that. Even if you placed 6th or 7th in the Open, you're going to make more money. So I guess if it's not about the money, you just want the title, well, okay, but then you could just stay amateur, couldn't you, and win the fucking Mr. England fucking 10, 20 times in a row. So who knows?
And do you think if it was judged fairly, that, you know, the fact that there was a 212 class didn't weigh into the judges' minds, how do you think he'd go against the...
I think he should do well, like, you know, depending on what pro show he's in and how the other guys come in, because it's hard to say unless you really see him up there, because you have like Flex Roden and you have Kai and Phil and all those guys, so it'd be interesting to see him side by side, because you can look at a photo and go, yeah, he looks good here and looks good there, but until, like I said, they're side by side standing next to all the other competitors, you can't tell, because everyone looks good standing by himself. But put him in a lineup, he'd definitely have to make top 10, but then where you go from there, we don't know. So just going to come down on conditioning and overall body shape and symmetry and stuff like that. So like I said, we can all play the game of looking at photographs, but you know, even I look good in pictures by myself, even with one fucked arm.
And what would your advice be for Flex? Go for it, have a crack, come in harder, and...
I would just to see how you go, you know, but then, like I said, if you do that and then you don't do well, do you lose that aura you have around you of being this champion and that? Then it's like, okay, well, he's a great champion, but yet in the Open he couldn't do well, so do you get that stigma? So it's like a really no-win situation, isn't it? So
yeah, I think these days if the fans can see if a guy looks really good and the placings mightn't be how they see them, that you know, that everyone's got their opinions, and
of course that's bodybuilding, isn't it? But yeah, it's hard to say what he... I said no one knows but Flex what he wants to do, so time will tell.